On Paul, the movie I did with Paul, Daniel movie, There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
And you go through that whole process, and it seemed it wasn't a troubled shoot, but it was a difficult shoot. There was a lot of stuff going on, and it was, it wasn't a joy, but it was really creative and wonderful, and it was a great experience, and went through the whole thing. And the finish on it, the post on it, because it's, again, it's film, it's, Paul insists on photochemical. I tried to show him some digital fixes on something, and he just said, no, I don't want to do it. So we're not doing that. And okay. So we just finished it photochemically. There's no sleight of hand, and there's a few visual effects, adding oil wells and stuff like that. But I never saw the movie as an audience sees the movie. Because when you're doing post, you guys know this, you're sitting there and you're watching edits, or you go to the lab and you're looking at the movie, and you're constantly watching it for what your work is at that moment, whether you're timing it or, it's like you never enjoy the movie. You never sit back and forget about you and see it the way an audience sees it. And about a year later, when I was on mission, they had a screening of There Will Be Blood at a place in London called the Roundhouse, which is this marvelous venue for music and other stuff, where they screen the movie with a live orchestra. And what's his name, the composer? Johnny was playing second violin. They're all wearing, the whole orchestra is a young orchestra, they're all wearing kind of suits and ties and looking nice. And Johnny Greenwood's wearing T-shirt and jeans, and he's playing second violin. He's sitting there. And they show the movie, they do this now a lot, where they show, without the music track. So the music's played live by an orchestra. And there was a woman who played the Brahms violin concerto, the piece that's a little truncated in when they ignite the well. When they start the well up and all that. And it was overwhelming. And you sit at these tables with, other people, and if you sit on the floor of this space, and everybody has wine, and it's like a dinner. It's like you're in your living room, and you're at a round table with 8 or 9 or 10 other people, and the whole floor is filled with people, and people who love the movie. Probably a lot of them had seen it. And I sat there, and for the first time, after about 3 glasses of wine, I felt I was really I'd forgotten. I was watching the movie. For the first time, I was really reacting to stuff that I'd forgotten. And then I was a little overwhelmed by it. And I just was, in a way that I didn't expect. I was moved by it, shocked by it. It had an enormous impact on me. Wow. In a way that it clearly does for other people, but it never had for me. And at the end, and I was with my wonderful friend Amanda, and I'm sitting with her, and at the end, half drunk, the lights come up. Nobody knows who there's no connect. There's nobody there who I know her at all. And I just turned to her and I go, you know what? I really did deserve the fucking Academy Award. and I kind of never felt that before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wow. Poor Roger didn't win again. It's like going through my head. So so that was it.
Wow. You bring up. I have to ask this because Punch Drunk Love is one of my top 5 favorite movies, and Paul Thomas Anderson is so amazing. I just wanted to ask about. Yeah. I guess your process with him, and I also wanted to ask specifically.
I don't know what it is anymore. It's like a bad married couple.
Well, are you guys going to get back together?
I don't know. Probably not. It depends on how he feels. I would do it again. I had a terrible time on. Terrible time. I shouldn't say that.
Inherent Vice?
Yeah, I didn't enjoy myself in Inherent Vice. It was like a really pleasant. I think it was a combination of me and Paul just not getting along, and I can't really. I can be as immature as him, There's just a level of that.
Lens flares that you have in Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah, well, that's really Paul. It's Paul going, I gotta love those. The anamorphic lens flare, and how to get them to happen on cue. And it means we put Joker bars, which were they're little HMI lights, on C-stand arms, just out of the view of the camera. Yeah. And they'd uncover them at certain times and cover them up. Wow. And there's one scene, I think it was with Philip Seymour Hoffman, where we overdid it. And I think we reshot. But it's a subtle, all the way through that movie, there's just this enormous interest in color and design, and in a way that is really, the production design, I'm trying to remember, what's this? Anyway, at the beginning, here's a great Paul. Here's Paul. The beginning of that, And Paul's. We know we're going to do the blue suit. It's kind of stolen a little bit from A Woman Is a Woman, the Godard movie. Jean-Claude Briolet wears a blue suit. Paul loved the suit. And we looked at the movie. We got a print of the movie from the DP, the great Raoul Godard, who I think just passed away. And it's just an extraordinary movie in every way. And anyway. But the production designer and I were trying to talk Paul into, well, you know what? What can his space not just be white? Can it be like, can we paint the wall something else? And we did tests where he painted the outside, his space,
warehouse?
his warehouse space.
Yeah.
What if the gray wall in the background had a color? What if you're thinking this all this through, and he just instinctively, this is a guy who's never been to film school and not design class or anything like that. He just instinctively, it just seems wrong to me. I just want everything to be I want the only color in the movie to be the blue of Adam's costume and the various colors that Emily wears. And I was going, why not? And then when I started seeing tests, and I realized it's figure ground. It's like the whole movie is essentially a background for those two actors and the colors that they wear. And Mark Bridges' extraordinary color design for Emily, and of course this blue suit, which I think he made like 10 of, and we shot 10 different shades of blue. Paul finally picked the one he liked. And then that figure ground thing, that whole idea that the whole film we'd paint everything white. We'd avoid every single color we could. We painted the walls white in his apartment. We painted the exterior of the supermarket that he runs past white. We painted everything white or gray or black, so that the only colors you'd see and you wouldn't feel manipulated by it. That you just feel that this is because what the movie was it was a fantasy. The movie took place as a fairy tale. It had to feel that way, and to take these horrible, banal, ugly locations in the San Fernando Valley, where Paul loves, and feel the magic of that, meant changing them in a way that they really just became this marvelous. And the one way to do it was to simplify the color palette and just go white, gray, or black, and make everything about Emily's costume. And there are a few places where we don't do it. And the big change would be Hawaii.
Yeah.
You get to Hawaii, and it becomes a sort of different. All of a sudden, you're into the warmth of the locations we picked and the places we went. But that Adam's world is this monochromatic universe that he lives in, which is a real reflection of who he's playing. Who's that guy, and that Emily brings him out of that, and that at the end, it's a really loving, caring, emotionally moving film.
Yeah.
And I think it has a lot to do with the way we designed it.
Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, one last quick question about
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Did you put a light on top of an 18-wheeler driving out of there?
Yeah.
When they come out of the restaurant together?
There's an electrician up there too, which is not a good idea. And I think he's strapped down.
crazy.
I hope. I can't remember. But
Every time I watch that, and I'm like, I think they put a light on top of that 18-wheeler.
He actually has to pan the light into the camera
Wow.
and then pan it off.
Wow. Cool.